Alright, the drill here, getting ready to play
This is the Guild of Dungeoneering.
the Guild of Dungeoneering. Yes, I am doing a review of this game. I played a bit, my wife has played it, and we both enjoyed a great deal. It's a lot of fun, very simple gameplay mechanics, but very well refined. So, I'm going to show you the beginning of the game, beginning-ish. I'm going to show you a dungeon, essentially. We're going to play through it, show off the mechanics, talk about them a little bit, and see how this turns out. This is the first time I've tried something like this. It could be fun, could be boring. We'll find out, we'll go from there. So, let's begin. So, I'm going to load up the game that I had started on Twitch. You can see the first dungeon on Twitch, but the sound quality wasn't good. You couldn't actually hear the game. I had it turned down a little too low or something. It was kind of weird. But it should be better this time. So let's begin. Okay, so you see here, this is the first part of the game. The first mechanic that I really think is good. All these rooms. This is the hall. This is the kind of like the home base of all your precious dungeoneers, and they will as you progress, you earn money. Then you can go to expand the guild, and you can get certain things. And some of these things, like the hidden den, the training yard, the theater, the library, these shops here, they unlock rooms which you drop in and expand the guild. Some of them give you dungeoneers. You get a steady supply of these dungeoneers. As the game progresses, one will die, you'll replace them with another one after a mission or two. So, it's kind of interesting because you can build the hall however you want, and it's cool that way. So, once you have things set up the way you want, and you have at least one dungeoneer, you can go exploring, and that's the first thing that you'll do. There's your hall. So I've actually done 2 dungeons. I can't actually go back. Alright, so then we have goblins, and then we have this one, which is a victimless crime. So we're gonna do the goblin dungeon, or should we try none shall pass? We'll do goblins. So we'll go on into the dungeon. Who are we gonna take? We're gonna take Tyrone. He's our apprentice, and we can pick. We only have one thing: the trickster's favor, +1 loot choice slot after the first fight. So, if you notice here, one of the big mechanics about this game is the cards. Everything is card-based. You use them to unlock rooms in your hall. That's the word I was looking for, hall. And you also, your characters are technically little cards, the upgrades, and then the combat uses cards as well. It's very card-heavy. However, there's one difference there that I want to point out. From a lot of other card-based games, the big issue I have, I'll probably discuss this in a future podcast, is the fact that you have to know every single card to be able to counteract them. It's not as big a deal. This is a single player game. It's got a lot simpler mechanics, so it's not as much of an issue. So let's continue here, because I'm just yammering now. So we'll enter the dungeon. Each adventure has several quests. The first quest we're going to do is Goblin Menace. And we're just taking out the guards. So Tyrone goes into the dungeon, and we go from there. Alright. There we go. So, this is a dungeon, obviously. You can see it's got that hand-drawn thing. That's kind of playing off the D&D gridded line paper idea, loosely. So, you have a goal here. We're going to defeat 4 monsters. There's no term limit on this one. I think there might be turn limits on future ones. And you get a hand. So now, and unlike other games where you control the main character controls himself. He goes wherever he wants to go, but you can choose which way he goes, because he's got his goals depending on the character and some of the stuff. I'm starting to believe I'm not part of the dramatist persona. And he also has like a little character sheet here. It's very simple, and equipment and some of the skills like this trait, talented, gives him start with fire 1. It's one of the cards that will pop up as he plays. So, as the kind of like a cross between the dungeon master and the character, I play cards to add things to the dungeon. So I could throw in a room right here, right? Because this is the only place it can connect. I can't connect it here because there's a corridor right here. I can't connect it here because I'm not adjacent to it. I have to connect it to adjacency. So I can drop that in there, and I can throw a level 1 spider. Bing! Got ourselves a little spider here. So we end the turn, and see you'll see a little set of footsteps that'll tell you where he wants to go. And then it starts the battle. You got the monster hand, which just plays the top card, and then your hand, it pulls the first 3 cards off the deck, and you keep playing. You keep your hand, you discard, and you draw another card at the end of the turn. So Tyrone here, he's got 5 hearts. The spider has 6. He's doing a magic attack that's also going to boost his hearts. So we can smack him. I can smack him. That means that it's not going to block, or it can't be blocked by the enemy. And this one means that it'll go first. So we'll just do an unblockable. Save the first hit for something else. So he still has the advantage. Oh, he's going to try taking away a card. And I can't do anything to block because I don't have any defensive cards out now. But I can do 2 damage. So that's advantageous. And I am still behind. And I cannot defend. So that kind of stinks. So I'll just keep trying to drive him down. Okay, great. You see this? He's got a magic attack, a blue attack, and a red defense. I have a blue attack and a blue defense. So if I play this, I'm going to block his attack, and I'm going to evade his for that. So I'm going to keep doing that. I want to get an extra cards, but I really can't because I don't want to lose too much health, and I'm already going pretty low. So now I'm kind of stuck here. I have to take the hit. I could do a little extra damage. Actually, I could take him out. So I'm just going to take him out. Because that's the thing to do. I don't want to risk losing it on the first match. That would be kind of sad. Alright, so I got a piece of loot for everything that I defeat. I get to choose it, so I could get this shirt, which gives me shift, physical, quick, and it allows me to draw a card. This wand gives me rekindle, it gives me magic and a heart, or magic. Oh, you get both cards, magic and a heart, and then you also get the card that does magic damage and gives you a card. Soldier's helmet increases your health by 1, and the hand axe does some physical damage. So he's an apprentice, so I'm going to keep him kind of in the arcane area. He's gone up a level, so your character will go up a level if he defeats something his level or higher. Anything below level is not really worth attacking unless it assists in your combat. So he's going to head back into this room because he's got nowhere else to go. But now I have a corridor here. I can drop this in, and now I know where he's going to go. He's going to head towards this goblin, which is fantastic. I can also throw a rat in his way and another rat in his way, and he'll fight them on his way, and that will be more combat options. So, Tyrone versus the nasty rat. So he's going to do one unblockable physical defense, but I do have the ability to do some magic and regain a heart, so I won't actually lose any health. That puts me on the advantage, and I can keep putting in the damage. So I'll zap him. And we'll continue with this. He's going to try taking away a card. I can't block it, but I can regain the card on my own end. So bloop, and then I get the card back. Which actually is good because it kind of forces cycles cards. So I can't block that. I'm going to build up my hand a little bit just for fun. We can see what other kinds of fun cards we get. So let's see here. Another card withdrawing, and I have nothing to defend against it. So You know, I'm just going to burn him down because that's going to quickly get rid of him. So as you see, the cards are very simple. The basic, you get more cards with the more loot, which is great. And it's really amusing. You have like weapons like the fork, an offhand like the wooden stool. Oh, this is a mechanic right here that I wanted to show off. The right there, the one in the center. It's a card that kind of balances off things. If you have a good card like the wooden stool, it's a low-end, low-tier card, but it's effective. It's got two really nice cards on it. So to balance it off, they threw in the card, and you can get more than one depending on the equipment that you have equipped. So eventually you start getting hands of these cards that you're not playing because you don't want to use them. And they fill up your hand, and you can just sit there doing nothing. So that's you. I try to avoid those. Those will come anyway in different things, but I have other offhand stuff that I can use. And you can only have one of each things: a head, offhand, a main hand, and a shirt. And it does affect the appearance of the characters, which is a nice little touch. Now, I get to talk about something pretty cool. Gems, treasure. So this gives you money at the end of the run, which is absolutely handy. It also does something else. It entices your character into a different direction. If I was to drop the gem here, he'd actually turn around and go to the gem, not to the monster. However, I want him to fight the monsters because that's why we're here. So I'm going to let him just get the gem on the end of that match. So he'll go, he'll fight the rat, and then he'll pick up the gem if he survives, which... I mean, a level 1 rat, he should. He better. Now, something to note. After each crawl, your character kind of resets, even if he's successful. He starts off at level 1. I think he also loses all... Yeah, you sell off the equipment. So one of the major story points is that the guild master, who's kind of technically you, is out for money. So all of his dungeoneers are kind of being robbed by this guy. He takes all of their money at the end of everything, so they always start out fresh every time they start a dungeon. And so that's for an interesting challenge, although as you expand your haul and get more stuff, the bonuses that they start with improve so that they can do more and deal with challenges. So it's a good balance. So I'm gonna lose a card, so let's just burn him down. I'm not too concerned. I can outdo a rat, no problem. Undefendable, so we'll just mind strike him and get a card back. And what do we get? Sweet. So we'll just go straight for that. Also, something else I should really talk about in this game is the art. All of the stuff looks like it's hand-drawn. It looks like they're trying for that campy hand-drawn RPG look, like when you were a kid and you used to draw your character in D&D and stuff like that. And they really nailed it because it looks hand-drawn, but the quality is there. It's really nice. I like it a lot. So, let's see here. He's got 2 more. I can't really do anything about it. I'll just use this. So that is going to give me an extra damage on my next attack. It also gives me 1 heart and a card. So I have a whole bunch of cards to work with. And we're just going to burn them down. Bam, bam, bam. And that's that. Victory! So I got loot. So I have a weapon and an offhand. So I'm going to go for the straight jacket, give myself an extra heart, and go from there. Now, again, turns, you can play up to 3 cards, but I don't really see any point. I'm just going to let him go. Actually, he's a level 2. So what happens if I drop a rat man here? Does he change his path? No, he's going to go for the easiest target. That's okay. I gotta defeat 1 more monster. That'll complete this mission, and Tyrone can go back into the hall with all of his loot, which then I'm going to obtain from him. Okay, so this guy's gonna hit a little hard. He does 2 damage, but you know, minus heart, and see how that's hollow, it doesn't have red in the middle, means he's actually going to deduct one of his own hearts. I'm just going to focus up so that I do more damage on the next match, regain one of my hearts, and I have the advantage. So he's going to try to do that, and I have nothing to block him, so I'm just going to use the Mind Strike so I don't lose a card in my hand. So that's good. That's very good. Straight up physical. I'll just do that. Hit him for 1 and heal back what he takes from me. Fantastic. And then the Flame Lash will just finish him off. Boom, boom. Done! So again, the combat's simple. You can really take some time to think it out and figure out the nuances. There's enough nuance to make it interesting, and as you get more cards to get more interesting, and like we're gonna go back to the hall and I'll explain another detail. This is something else I like.
Wondering.
Every time you end a match, every time one of your characters die, every time you get a guy, there's these little limericks that kick up, and they're hilarious. Alright, so it tells you how much you gain. So I earned 37 gold from that. And he gained a battle scar, so that's a permanent thing that he picks up. He's paranoid now, so he gets a bonus to his armor? He starts with armor 1, so I think that means that he gets a piece of armor. Or no, I think it's actually a card he starts with now. So there's an extra card in the deck that he will start with because he's got that scar. And every time they complete a dungeon, I think they pick up a battle scar. And sometimes, quite often they're positive, but sometimes they can be negative. And I think it depends on how the results go. So I think if he dies, no, that doesn't make sense because he's dead and he's gone. So Tyrone makes it back to the hall alive. And then, so we return to the hall, and we've got the money. So I can discuss something important. I forget what, though. So, I can spend some money on some more stuff, or I can save it up. So, because at the next level, you get some new guys like the Ranger, but he costs 500. So that's going to require some saving. So that just adds that card as one of the modifier cards. Alright, yeah, so the other thing I wanted to talk about are these rooms up here. You see that there are no dungeoneers in them. This is the forge. This is the room of relics. In fact, can I check that out? No. However, I can check it and expand. So that's these right here. They're the loot. Blacksmith, leatherworker, woodworker, and curio. Each one of those unlocks 4 items that you can actually get in the dungeon. It's not something that your guy can take with you, but it improves the loot you can get, improving combat as you get further into the dungeon, and increases the money that you earn, because every item that the dungeoneer returns with is pretty much money in your pocket. And that's good because you want to be able to save up for the next tier of dungeoneers and other stuff. So we're going to continue in the goblins! Moving on to orcs. So first we had the goblins, now we have the orcs. So we're going to switch over to the Crone's Knowledge. That should be good. Extra hand size for the first 2 fights. Fantastic. So we're going to go in, and it's the same dungeon, but a different area, and different goals. So this one is interesting. Oh, it's one of these. I remember this one. Oh crap, it's one of those do-gooders from the Ivory League. I knew I should have been more careful. So he is kind of like the goal of this dungeon. I have to defeat him. So now I have a couple of added things I've got to be careful when I'm designing my building the map around me. This right here is a Fountain of Stupidity. It will actually hurt me on the next fight, and that could be bad because that could be I actually had that, and it like filled my hand with cards. Stupidity 2 means I had 2 cards that were stupidity, and it really hurt me. It limits what you can do. So you kind of want to build around this so he doesn't try to pass through to go to his next target. Because remember, he's going to go where he wants. He's not going to think about that. In fact, that might actually have a higher desirability. I'm not 100% sure. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to throw in a corridor here, throw in a level 1 spider and some coin. That's all 3 cards spent, and he's going to move on. So let's see where he goes. Tyrone versus the scary spider. Yeah, couldn't tell that's where he was gonna go. Oh wait, what did I grab? I forgot to grab a different guy. That's okay. So we get to try out Tyrone. No, he's the apprentice. I remember now. I'm not stupid. So he's got some magic with a defense, and we're just gonna out-magic him. That should kind of put us on even standing. So I'm going to keep this out. Of course, this is pretty much 1-for-1, so I need to turn the tide here. Perfect. So this is interesting. See how that's attached to this? This means that he will gain a heart if he hits me. But if I block him, boom, he can't hit me. He can't gain a heart, and I take the advantage. So he's going to try to take a card from me. I could take that, but I won't. I'm just going to repel all. So that's the Armor 1 card that was mentioned earlier. More of the same. Keep burning him down. So, pretty straightforward fight. I don't remember if I mentioned music. The music in this game is actually really good. The voice acting is pretty good. The guy in the background who's throwing out those little rhyming limericks is hilarious. And it makes the game much more interesting. The atmosphere that the music provides is great. So we have defense, counter, gives you 2 physical on 1 shield. That's an armor 2 card. This gives slice and bash, and then there's the ruffled shirt. I think I'm going to go with, I want some more physical defense, because there's a lot of physical stuff in here. So I think I want best of both worlds. We'll take the wooden board for now, as an offhand. Picks up the coin. It gives me some money. Wait a sec, you're from the Guild of Dungeoneering? Take them out with the trash minions. So, okay, we're going to slap that on there. So he's level 2. I have level 1 rats, which are kind of pointless. I want to level him up so that he can face off the Orc Warlord. I'm going to take a risk here. I'm going to throw him up against a scorpion. This might be the end of Tyrone. But whatever. We'll see what happens. It could be fun. Okay, we'll end our turn. I don't suppose we could simply exchange pleasantries instead of a more boorish dueling. Sounds like an apprentice-y thing to say. Okay, so the scorpion has a lot more health, and he's going to be harder to deal with. However, I think I can still out-damage him. The question is can I out-damage him before he burns me down? Knew that was undefendable, but that did the most damage. So I shall do... That's not going to help. I'm going to build up my cards, because this guy works with cards. So the more cards he has in his hand, the more effective he generally can be. That's a lot of damage, and it's unblockable. So we might as well just go straight for straight up damage. Because now he's outburning me, and that's bad. I might actually die. Alright, I'm just going to straight up repel this, because I have to. Boom. Hopefully I'll be able to do some damage. Oh, wow, that's a lot. So I have nothing I can do about this. He's just gonna kill me no matter what. So I'm done. Bye bye, Tyrone. I knew thee well.
A tender thing is a hero's life. A spear, a sword, a rusty knife. A dungeoneer's life. Now that's to be had. Still, he should have got that tetanus jab.
So, poor Tyrone just met an untimely and unfortunate end. Sorry, Tyrone. So, where does he end up? As you can see, he's not in the apprentice workshop anymore. Where did he go? In the cemetery. There he is. Alright. So that means that the poor guy's down. We need to grab a different person. We'll go back out again. So Mary's our bruiser. I think she might be more effective We'll keep the Crone's knowledge. So the Bruiser is very physical. A lot of her cards are armor and straight up physical. I'm saying physical a lot. So she does a lot of damage. And this again. So we'll deal with that. Okay, so he's still our target. Let's get going here. I can go... We'll go this way. So, throw in a spider for her to fight. End the turn. So the spider's doing physical, and he's got a block. So we're gonna do an unblockable attack. Boom. All right. So we'll do nice try, jump. She's got spiky, which means that if she successfully blocks an attack, she does damage, which is great. So we'll do bash, and the spiky plus the frail from the spider, granting us extra damage, means that we own that match. So let's, she's pretty durable. Do I want to add some slice? I think I'm gonna give her some magic bonuses with that tome. That'll be handy. That'll flesh her out a bit. Okay. Perfect. We'll put that in there. Throw in a skeleton. And we can, yeah, it's her level. So that'll put her up to level 3, which will be great. And I think I want to... Don't really want to do that, do I? Hopefully next hand I'll have some better stuff. We'll just... Didn't that one. Summon to punch! Mary versus the skeleton. Alright, that was overkill, but that's what I want to see. So I gain extra hit point, and I can... Ooh, that's cool. Sparkly headband does some pretty nice stuff. The stiletto's nice as well, but we're going to go for the crossbow because that's new. So that's a... weapon. She's now got a crossbow. Hey, stop killing my monsters! So she's going to go after the knoll, and then she's going to go over here. That's better. That's the way we want her to go. So she's going to bypass this fountain and go straight for the warlord. And I'm going to throw in a level 3 monster here to ensure that she's level 4. That'll help her get through the next one. Oi! Knoll! Or is that old knoll? Mary versus the knoll. Fantastic. So, a skull cap or a cooking pot? The cooking pot is good. Or the scimitar. So, the scimitar does a ton of physical, but I like the fact that I have some interrupt there. I'm going to go with that because it has more defensive stuff, and I have a sneaking suspicion I'm going to need it against this guy. So here we go. She's going to hit up the owl bear. I don't really have to do anything here. It's not going to help me in any way, so we'll just end the turn and let the owl bear meet its maker. Or unmaker in this case. Go on, Mary! Okay. Ooh. 2 hearts if successful, and I have no way of stopping that. So, I'm just going to do as much damage as I can. Owl bear. Bear owl. It's not an owl bear. What are you thinking? Okay, we'll block the card thing. Spiky! Alright, that puts us back on the advantage. Up my cards. I'm going to take some damage, but... Wink. Extra cards are good. He's going to do another card thing. At this point, we're still evenly matched, so I want to... I think I just want to block out and let the Spiky do the damage. Keep from losing my hand. Perfect. Okay. Unblockable. But that's okay. We'll just do the same to them. We still have the advantage. As long as he doesn't do something crazy. Like that. However, I have shift, so that will mean I'll hit first and destroy the bear owl. Boink. Perfect. Level up. +1 hit points. And what do I get? Wolf pelts. Wooden shield. and a sword. We'll do the wolf pelt. Because why not? Fantastic. Oi, I mean it. So we'll slap that in there. I wish I could put another gem in there, but I can't. So, okay, we're gonna hit him. And fight the warlord. Now look at all the health that this guy has. We're gonna have to play very defensively. There we go. That puts us on 5, 6, 7. Yeah, now we're on an even thing. Aha, he's just gonna sit there and scratch his head. There we go. Just do some damage. Headbutt is next. Oh, I get to see his cards in advance. Okay, so I'm gonna save this for that, obviously. But this is still painful. I can block one of his damage, or I can heal back. I'm gonna block one damage. Either it amounts to the same thing. Alright, so I can just repel outright on this one. That's fantastic. So same thing, he's gonna do some damage, but I can restore some hearts. So I'm owning this fight. This is great. Alright, so I can block that and do damage. So that's pretty much going to end it right there. Block, he hurts himself. Spiky comes into play, and then I do 2 more damage. Orc Warlord defeated.
I'm not sure if you understand. This used to be a peaceful land. Since your guild come along, everything has gone wrong. And I dread to know now what you've planned.
Alright, so that's another dungeon completed. Quest, I guess, in the dungeon. So I gain goals for exploring the map, getting monsters, selling loot, and the bonus for the quest itself. So I just made 131. I unlocked another adventure. Did that unlock that whole goblins adventure? Monsters attack first, unless you use a quick attack. Lysa, my new apprentice. Fantastic. Now I'm gonna save up my money and get another one of those high-end adventures. It'll be great. Go exploring. I guess I did just defeat the goblins. This is Guild of Dungeoneering. Once again, it's a great game. It's a lot of fun. The graphics are simple but well made. It's a great example of the whole you don't need crazy good graphics to make a good game. It's definitely my type of game. It's got a good combination of strategy and humor and a bunch of other things that just make it an awesome game. You can get Guild of Dungeoneering for $15 right now on Steam, and I recommend it highly. It looks good, sounds good, plays great. If you love the card mechanic, it's definitely worth getting into. This has been The Drill, playing Guild of Dungeoneers. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.